Hi, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to the fifth chapter of The Lace Makers. This will be the last chapter that I'll be sharing with you publicly. So if you're interested in learning more about this story or finding out what happens with Emerald and Karen, I'm going to put links in the description below where you can find this book both digitally and in paperback version. The fifth chapter is my absolute favorite chapter of this entire story. This is Emerald telling the story of when she and her mother and Sam go into town and what happens while she's there. What I love about this chapter is that you really get to see how observant she is, how aware she is, and how self-aware she is of what's happening. And I think a lot of this has to do with the way that her mother has raised her, not only in practice, but by example. So I hope that you enjoy this last chapter that I'll be sharing with you. The dirt road kick up a heap of dust on my best red jumper. I set by Mama on the wooden seat and keep brushing it off as we round the corner toward the town. When we gets real close, I fuss with the little rag ribbons I tied to the ends of my braids, making sure they still tight. Mama say soap be cheap and water be free, so she ain't gonna take no dirty girl to town. She knows she ain't got to tell me. I like to get dirty, but more than that, I like to get clean, especially when I get to dress up and go to the store. Massa gently tapped the horse's flank with the reins and say, "Giddy up, Pete." I think that'd be funny, him calling a horse a man's name, but that'd be Massa's way. He got a cow named Sue, a mule called Nat, a goat called Timothy, and two sheeps called Joan and Joanna. Make me wonder who named my great 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 granddaddy who come over on a boat from Africa. I sure as sugar he weren't called Homer where he come from. By the time we gets to town, the sun be shining, warm like, and I don't need my shawl no more. These white folks milling all over the place like ants crawling all over the sugar bowl. Some of 'em has they slaves with 'em, toting this and that. I see the kids playing in the schoolyard. Must be what Marybelle call morning recess. I can't see little Sam, but they's a bunch of boys playing baseball, and I hear the loud crack the wooden bat make when it hits the little white ball. I also hear old Mr. Hawkins, the white folks' preacher, yelling at his man to tie up them horses right quick. His voice sound like a creaky old barn door, and I's glad Massa's voice be soft and low, 'cept when he been drinking. But even then, I only hear him yelling at Missus through their bedroom door. He don't yell like he mad. He yell like he got so much grief inside of him, it be pouring out from his mouth in words instead of tears from his eyes. I can't understand him, but Missus do. Even though she can get madder than a wet hen at Massa, she always says stuff like, "It all right, Sam. I understand. It won't be long now. Your father would understand too. But I don't know what old Massa Settler be understanding when he dead. And from what I hear, he weren't the understanding type. Mama say he'd yell an order, and whoever in his line of fire best jump quick or risk a whipping, and that include his son. Mama say Massa get beat twice as hard as a slave sometime. Now I watch old Mr. Hawkins bark some more at his man. Then I look at Massa. I ain't happy to be no slave, but I don't know no different neither. I know what it like to be called tar baby. I know what it like to be asked when I go to town with Mama, whose nigger you be? Like I ain't got no name, like I ain't a person. I know that some white folks gonna hate us all their lives because they don't know no different, just like I don't know no different than living like I do. Even so, I know the difference between belonging to a nice man and a nasty one. Massa may tell Mama to do this and that. He tell Pearl and Ruby and Hale and all of them slaves in the field how long to work and what they gots to do all day long, but he ain't mean. Sometime in the summer, he even let 'em have the afternoon off if it be so hot they go melt like brown butter in the boiling sun. They nap in they shacks till twilight, then heads back to the fields till it get real dark with Massa toiling right next to 'em. I think sometime Massa feel guilty about a lot of things. Guilty about my daddy, guilty about his daddy, guilty about who he be. Mama say Massa Sam ain't a lick like old Massa, and that be both a blessing and a curse. Ruby, take all the time you need with Mrs. Snow, Massa say as he steer the horse toward a hitching post by the store. I need to go to the telegraph office and the bank, so I'll ask Mr. Snow to help me load the staples into the wagon if you're still inside. Mama nod as she tie the ends of her shawl so it don't fall off. Thank you, Massa Sam, she say, making sure his good ear be facing her. I keep forgetting which one it be, but Mama always know. She say nice and clear, you think there gonna be any news about the war? I hope so, Massa nod. But you know what the preacher says about those darn reporters who hear a scrap of rumor and print it like it's the gospel truth. What he say? Mama asked, shielding her eyes from the rising sun. Massa smile. He said that all the reporters would be killed in the crossfire one day and dispatches from hell would arrive by sunrise the next morning. Oh, Lord, Mama laughed. He ain't got no use for them newspaper mans. Well, let's hope for some good news anyway, Massa say. He get down from the wagon. Have you made a lot of things to sell? Mama shrug. I ain't had time to make but a few things, but Mrs. Snow say last time she gonna look round for some more wool yarn. If'n she finds some, I'm gonna make you some new socks to wear to church. That's fine, Massa nod. I can tell he not really listening. His mind elsewhere, but that where it be most days, since folks around here talking about how the war gonna be ending soon. Can I learn how to make socks too? I ask Mama when I see Massa ain't gonna say no more. She nod. Yes, just as soon as you learn how to use them double pointy needles I gave you last week. Them's hard to figure, Mama, I frown. They flip and flop all over the place. Practice, baby girl, Mama smiled. You gots to practice. I'd rather practice my reading, I whisper. I know I ain't supposed to talk about such things when we get away from Massa's plantation, but ain't no one looking at us, so I figure I can sneak it in. Hush it, Emerald, Mama hiss and squeeze my leg hard with her strong fingers. She don't want to get nobody in trouble, especially Mrs. So I hush it. Massa hobble Pete, then reach up and help Mama down. He hold out his arms and grab me round my ribs, then set me on the ground. There you go, Miss Emerald, he wink. Have fun with your mama at the store. He slip a shiny penny into my hand. Why don't you get some stick candy, if Ruby doesn't mind? Mama give Massa a look that say, you spoil my child, but that be just fine with me. What you say, Emerald? Mama chide. Thank you, Massa, I say, staring at the penny in my palm. I know just what kind I's gonna get. What's that? He asks. Peppermint, I smile. Like at Christmas time when Santa Claus done brung little Sam and Mary Bell a mess of candy. Well, you can pretend it's Christmas today if you want, Massa say, pulling a satchel from the wagon. I expect that'll buy you a couple of pieces at least. Then he look at Mama. Tell Mrs. Snow to give you the best calico they have. Enough for new Easter dresses for you and your girls. She can put it on my monthly bill. Mama wrinkled her brow. Why you do that? Massa look at my shabby jumper and shake his head. I can't believe how much Emerald is growing like a weed. I nod. Yes, sir, I is. It embarrassing to wear this old thing both Opal and Pearl had when they was little. It'd be held together by threads, and the seams be popping open where my armpits is stretching them. Plus, it got stains from where they spilt all kinds of things on it. Want me to get some for Mrs. and the children? Mama asked. Massa shake his head. No, they're going to visit her mother in Cleveland soon, and I'm sure Mrs. Hamilton will take them to her tailor. Mrs. from a rich family up north, and I think that why she teach me how to read and write. She don't like keeping slaves, but she loved Mass a whole bunch, or so I hear her tell him when he so sad sometime. She say she ain't gonna leave him, no matter how poorly the farm producing, no matter how mean he treat her. She say she gonna be with him till death do they part, and she mean to keep her promise. Mrs. don't make us work on Sunday, 'cause that be the Lord's day. Mama and I does all our work on Saturday. And then we gets to spend the whole next day praying and singing hymns and knitting on our lace. Opal and Pearl come over to our shack, and we get to talking sometime till I nearly bust a gut with them funny things they say about they husbands. How they farting and burping and scratching they behinds. Last week Opal pretends she be Hale and rub her hind end while she sniff and snort and walk round the shack like she got a stick up her butt. The shine already done worn off of him, Mama smiled, looking up from her lace. This can't be the same boy you done fell in love with last summer. He's still the same boy, Opal say, wrinkling her nose. He just more hisself now that we married. It a wonder I even think about jumping the broom someday. Now, Mama, take my hand and we walk to the store. It be Monday, so Massa stopped at the post office to mail some letters. I see him over my shoulder and notice he walking funny, like he ain't got no bones in his legs. Mr. Toomey worked the telegraph at the post office, and I know Massa gonna ask him if they's news about the war. He worry about that all the time, especially when Mr. Rotten come over and rant and rave about what gonna happen when all the niggers get freed. They all know the Rebs is gonna get they behinds whipped, and then what they gonna do? Make me wonder what me and Mama and everyone who worked Massa's farm gonna do too. Where we gonna live? Will I get to be with Mama always? It make my mind spin to think of such things, so I watch the kids running in the schoolyard. Maribel be swinging on a tire and her dress flying up so I can see her under things. Her mama would have a fit to know she's showing her business, but I won't tell. Maribel and me is friends, even though I know I ain't supposed to talk to her when we in town. Emerald, you want to sit on the porch and watch the kids while I talk to Mrs. Snow? Mama asked. Yes'm. Fine, I come get you when I's done so you can spend that pretty penny. I rub it between my fingers and think of all the hours Mama spent knitting and sewing and making things Mrs. Snow want to sell at the store. I know Mama only make a little bit of money, and Mrs. Snow raised the price a heap so she can make what Mrs. Teach Me call a profit. That don't make no sense, I think. Why can't Mama just make all the money herself? But ain't nobody gonna buy nothing from no slave, so Mrs. Snow doing her a favor passing her pennies and nickels and dimes if Mama be lucky. You want my penny? I asked her, holding it out. You can put it with the money you saving for our freedom. Mama pat my hand, then curl my fingers round the copper coin. We gon' be free soon enough. You ain't never had no money for, and today's a very special day. It be time you learn how to use it. Thank you, Mama, I say, thankful she let me keep it. I was thinking the same thing, that I ain't never had no penny. I ain't never had nothing that weren't somebody else's for me, except my pretty shirt with the Queen Anne's lace. I sat on a barrel near the door of the store and watched the kids while Mama go inside. I hear Mrs. Snow say, Be right with you, Ruby. Lord, it's been a busy morning. My legs itch and my feet hurt 'cause my toes poking out the holes in my shoes. The socks I was wearing has holes too, and the soles of my shoes be flapping all the time. Mama says she gonna get Hale to tar him up sometime when he ain't too busy scratching his behind and burping and farting and such. My mama a card, or so old Albert say. I think that means she'd be pretty funny. Now I look at all them clean white kids and know how truly dirty I be. My hands, my feet, even my being colored don't hide the filth I live in every day. Mama done give me a bath on Sunday, but still I see them kids and I know what they is. And I know what I is. Still, I get to set out here and listen to songbirds singing, while all them kids soon be going heading back to set on their behinds in that schoolroom doing all kind of work. But that not work to me. It more like playing. I see a boy who got a McGuffey reader, the very same one I read last night. I think about the story of the little boy who liked to play, and when he done, then he liked to work. To help me remember all them words in order, I take little steps round the wooden porch, one word for each step. He used to say one thing at a time. When he had done with work, he would play, but he did not try to play and to work at the same time. Over and over again, I whisper them words, but pretty soon that story about mixing work and play get all mixed up in my head. It seemed like them birds twittering in the trees and the horses clomping on the street and the folks walking by all be singing that story to me, even though they ain't paying no mind to a little colored girl waiting on her mama. The birds tweet, "Work can be play, Emerald. You know it can." "I sure do," I sing to the birds, "'cause knitting ain't no work, 'cept when Mama put them double pointy things in my hands." "Oh, Emerald," one of them red birds chirp, "you is a card." All of a sudden, I see the teacher, Miss Vincent, come to the door of the schoolhouse and ring a big gold bell. Clang, clang, clang. Them kids stop what they doing right quick and hightail it to their teacher. I think they be like little slaves too. Miss Vincent be they massa with her bell, and when she ring it like she doing now, they all come running. Except I know at the end of the day, they get the freedom of going home to their mamas and daddies. Miss Vincent be strict too. One time when Mama brung me to town, I seen her grab a boy by the ear and drag him into the school, all the while screeching, "Don't you let me catch you doing that ever again, Douglas Pritchard." Later that day, when I was washing dishes in the big house, Mary Bell come in for a glass of milk. I asked her what Douglas done to get in trouble, and she say he peed in the bushes in front of all the girls. "That ain't no big thing," I shrugged. "All the slaves in the fields do they business wherever they is, 'cause they ain't no privy where when you got to go." "But there's an outhouse behind the school," Mary Bell tell me, "and Miss Vincent says we're never ever to go in the bathroom outside because it's unsanitary." "What's that mean?" I asked, wiping a bowl free of mashed potato bits. "I think it means not private." "Private means you does your business all by yourself?" "Uh-huh," Mary Bell nod. "Now I think on all them times Mama say to just piddle behind a bush at night 'stead of hightailing it to the privy. She say it keep raccoons and skunks and such away from our shack, and that make me giggle just to think on it." "What you got to laugh about, Emerald Settler?" I hear a nasty voice say. It come from the mouth of the loudest woman I know. Whenever Queenie come near me, I want to run the other way, fast. But I can't now, 'cause she's right next to me, her shadow covering me from the top of my rag ribbons to the tips of my ratty shoes. "Morning, Miss Queenie," I say real polite. Mama say I got to be nice to all of the mayor's slaves, even a big old witch like Queenie. She live in a little room right next to their kitchen, so Queenie can be at Mrs. Mayor's beck and call all day and night. All she got to do is ring a little bell, and up Queenie jump to fetch a cup of tea or empty her bedpan or bring a little more honey for her biscuits. Earl, Mr. Rotten's man, say Queenie don't live in no tar paper shack. When he bring dry goods to they house, he see her little feather bed and her very own sink and privy. Plus, Queenie get to eat a bit of whatever she making for the mayor, no matter what it be. One time Earl say, even when that girl eat the fancy tea cakes from her mass's dinner parties, she still find a way to make it sound like she made the lick a slop jar. Queenie got nothing nice to say about nothing. Every time Mama and I see her in town, she complaining like she Job. Maybe Queenie need to see what it feel like to have to do her business outside and sleep in a drafty shack and eat nothing but cornbread and pork rind. I ain't got no boils like Job, but I know what it feels like to never be warm enough or full enough. Not like I wants to be. "What you got to be laughing about?" Queenie asked one more time. Her sourpuss face be like the prunes Mama put on little Sam's oatmeal. "I's just watching the kids," I tell her. I ain't going to tell her I's thinking about piddling by the shack to ward off varmints. She just say I's fresh and threaten to tell my mama. "Ain't you lucky to set there and do nothing?" Queenie sigh. "I got so many things to get done today, and Missus want me to come all the way across town to go to the store." I roll my eyes, 'cause all the way across town for Queenie maybe she means she got to walk past 3 houses and the bank before she gets to the store. She don't know nothing about walking. Not like poor old Earl do. He walk everywhere for Mr. Rotten. I'll bet he done walked enough to go halfway round the world by now. "How you?" I ask, as if I really want to know. I ain't got nothing nice to say about Queenie, so most of the time I do like Mama tell me and don't say nothing at all. "Missus got me hopping today," Queenie sigh. Mama poke her head out the door. "You wants to come in now, Emerald?" She see Queenie and smile. Morning. Queenie nod. Ruby. Mama pull on my sleeve. Come on, baby girl. Thank you, Jesus, I think. Thank you for sending my mama to rescue me from that nasty woman. Bye, Miss Queenie, I say, grinning. But in my mind's I's thinking, a good riddance. When we get inside the store, Mrs. Snow be rolling out a big bolt of calico. Mama say I get to choose the color for our new dresses. Now it really like Christmas. There's red and purple and blue. The one Mrs. Snow show me be green with little white flowers all over the place. They looks like the ones Mrs. and Mama planted last year near the back door by the garden. The ones that smell sweet and clean. I point to the bolt. I like that one, Mama, if it all right with you. Mama nod. That's a good choice, Emerald. Don't you think them flowers look just like the sweet alyssum from our garden? Yes'm. I love how we both think the same thing sometime, like Mama and I be one person. Massa Settler say to put the calico on his monthly bill, Mama tell Mrs. Snow. She folded into a nice pile, then just like she'd do for the white folks, Mrs. Snow wrap it in brown paper. Thank you kindly, Mrs. Mama say. I know how dusty the roads can be when we don't get much rain, Mrs. Snow say. Now, Emerald, your mama says you want to do some business with me. I swallow hard and don't say nothing, just nod at the floor and hold out my penny. Mrs. Snow act like she do business with a little colored girl every day. She not like her husband who yell at us to hurry up and be on our way. Mr. Snow says we's bad for business, and if white folks see us malingering, they won't come into the store. I wonder what malingering mean and plan to look it up and look up that big old word in Mrs. Settler's dictionary when I learn how to spell better. What would you like? Mrs. Snow asks me. Your mama says you might want some candy. I steal a look up at her, and when I do, I see a little corn cob doll on the shelf over my head. It'd be a little bitty thing, maybe only as big as my hand, but I think I want to see if I can use my penny to trade for her. I bite my lip and look at Mama. What you want, Emerald? She asks. Come on, we gots to meet Massa Sam at the wagon. I point to the doll on the shelf. She got curly paper hair and a dress that come down to her little knobby feet. You want that doll? Mrs. Snow asked me. Yes'm, I whisper. Can I trade my penny for it? Mrs. Snow pull it from the shelf and look at the little white tag round its neck. It's 3 cents. I only got 1 penny, I tell her. Mama open up her coin purse and give me 2 more pennies. Emerald, you help me knit some of them doilies, she say. I's happy to give you a little of the money we earned. You go on and get that dolly. It'll last longer than peppermint candy, won't it? My smile stretches big. Yes'm. Carefully, I put the 3 pennies on the counter, and Mrs. Snow hand me the doll. The husk crackle when I stroke the dress and touch her hair. Her black dot eyes shine up at me like she knows she mine now. Mama tell me to thank Mrs. Snow, and I do. Then we heads out the door to where the wagon's still hitched. They ain't no sign of Massa, so we take our time. I cradle my doll in my arms and wonder what I gon' name her. We see Queenie hurrying up the street toward the mayor's house, and Mama shake her head. When we set free, Queenie's still gonna be stuck in them invisible chains. I know what invisible is. That mean you can't see it. It'd be like a ghost or a spook or something. Mrs. read me a book called A Christmas Carol last year, and it have a ghost man who has to drag a heap of heavy chains round in the afterlife because he'd been stingy when he was alive. Queenie ain't wearing no chains that I can see, but she drag round her complaints like she totin' a heavy pail of water, spilling a little of her belly aching on everyone she meet, and she always seemed to be able to go back to the well to pull up some more. But Mama done seen Queenie's mama die in childbirth. She spoke to Massa, who be friends with the mayor, and made sure Queenie was brought up by the house slaves so she'd never have to work on Mayor's farm or get sold to a plantation. Just like Mama made sure I work in Massa and Mrs.'s house cleaning and helping with the cooking, knitting, and such. She say everyone been born for some purpose, and right now that be mine, to be her helper and to knit up pretty things for the white folks. I wonder what my purpose gonna be when I ain't a slave no more. Like Mama say, I only a slave by what you see on the outside. I ain't got no invisible chains, 'cause I got my freedom with mama at night when she sing to me and tell me she loved me. Queenie ain't never know her mama, and she probably ain't got nobody to say they loves her. Maybe that why she's so mean all the time, and I got to find it in my heart to pray for her poor soul. Mama helped me climb up on the wagon seat. Then she'd get up right next to me. I hold my doll in my lap so I can see her little black eyes and a dot for a nose. The curve of her mouth be red and her cheeks be painted with tiny circles of pink. That be a pretty dolly, Mama say. I think she need a calico shawl to match the jumper I'm making you soon. Then we all match, Mama. I look up and see Massa coming from the bank. His face be drawn and white. Look like he want to cry, but I know he ain't. He carrying a little bundle of papers under his arm and it tied up with a piece of string. When he get to the wagon, he slide 'em into his brown satchel and put it under the seat. Massa don't say nothing as he unhitched the horse, but when he climb into the wagon, he ask Mama, "Did you get everything you need?" "Yes, Massa Sam," she say. 'Fore he pull on Pete's reins, Massa look around. He real quiet for a moment. Then he say, "The next time you come to town, make sure to tell Mrs. Snow I said thank you for her kindness." Mama just nod. As we head back to the big house, I watch Massa from the corner of my eye. I know something ain't right, 'cause I listened to what he said with them different ears Mama told me about. Now I figure maybe my ears need to perk up when they ain't no words to be heard. But then I notice Massa ain't got the dry goods from the store. I wonder when he gonna notice too. Maybe not till we get home. Then Massa might send Hale to fetch Mr. Rotten to tote the load to the big house. And I ain't liking that prospect, no sir, 'cause that insight Mama say I has is just starting to kick in. So if you're still listening, thank you so much for your time. As I'm rereading this chapter to you, I realize how much foreshadowing is in this chapter, right down to that little corn husk doll, and you'll see her in the epilogue. There's a lot of things that are going to pull through from this chapter into Emerald's story and then cross over into Karen's story. One of the things you may notice about this book is that at first the imagery overlaps, the train whistles or the sunrise or the way they talk about their captivity, and as the story goes on, then the events start to overlap. And near the end of the book, the dialogue overlaps. It's pretty interesting. As I was writing it, I had no plans for those things to happen, but they just did organically because these characters were so clear to me. So if you're interested in learning more about the lace makers, again, I will put links in the bottom of the description of this video. If you're on Substack, I'll put links in the description of the post. I thank you so much for your time. Please feel free to share this post and future posts about the lace makers with educators, with friends, with family, with readers ages 13 to 14 years and up who you think might value the historical lessons that are included in this book. I thank you again for your time. Enjoy your day.